the world had just heaved an immense sigh of relief that at last there was the chance of peace breaking out in the Middle East. You know, the Hezbollah and Israel had negotiated a ceasefire under immense pressure from President Joe Biden. As you are aware, President Joe Biden had been asking for a ceasefire for months, and it is President Netanyahu who had steadfastly, refused to go along, refused to comply. He had decimated the Hamas, and then he had switched his guns onto Hezbollah. And in an amazing series of operations, he had caused severe degradation to Hezbollah, especially in terms of command and control, attrition. He'd also hit, Iran with his airstrikes, with 100 aircraft airstrikes. So hardly had the news of the ceasefire in Lebanon reached the world, when the very next day a major fighting erupted in Syria. The Hijab HTS, Hijaz Tehreek-ul Shams. This is a Sunni militant group, terrorist group supported by Turkey and the United States and also Israel, which started a massive military offensive, surprise military offensive against the second largest Syrian city of Aleppo. Now, as we all, just to give you a bit of context, Syria has been a battleground between the Shias and Sunnis for the almost last 2 decades. The problem had started in 2011 when the Americans wanted to overthrow Bashar al-Assad in Syria, and they had used the ISIS and the Al-Qaeda to destabilize his regime. The Turks had stepped in, the Kurds were also fighting there. It was a free-for-all in Syria. This has started way back in 2011, the major revolt against Syrian strongman Bashar al-Assad. By 2016, the Russians had intervened in a very major way. They had, decided to back Bashar al-Assad to the hilt. They had established 2 naval bases on the Syrian shoreline in the Mediterranean, and therefore Syria was a very important pivot for them, an entry point into the Middle East to regain their lost influence there and also control the outflow of oil. Now, the Russians used savage air power, their very heavy surface fuel air explosives, their TORS missile systems, all their new missile systems were tested out in Syria, and they helped Bashar al-Assad recapture the city of Aleppo and the cities around and secure the bulk of Syria. Now, suddenly, this fighting has erupted again. As you are aware, Iran and Hezbollah, along with Russia, have been supporting Bashar al-Assad. Also, some Iraqi militias, Shia militias, have been supporting Bashar al-Assad. It has become a major battleground between the Shias and the Sunnis. The Shia-Sunni cleavage has been used very effectively by the United States, by Israel and the others to destabilize the country of Syria. Now what has happened is that when Hezbollah was weakened very badly in the fighting in Lebanon, and also the Iranians took heavy casualties, the Israelis had been bombing these groups in Syria, and so had the Americans also been involved in frequent bombings there in retaliation for the Shia militias' attacks on their bases in Syria. Now, as a result of this, there was a sudden weakening of the resistance on the Aleppo front, and the Syrian army had become very complacent. They were quite satisfied, quite happy that their flanks are protected by the Iranians and by the Hezbollah. And suddenly they found that when the HTS mounted a savage offensive, they were absolutely taken by surprise, and these HTS people use sophisticated drones to try and do a lot of damage, and before the world realized, half of Aleppo had fallen, and by yesterday the whole of Aleppo had fallen to the HTS, and now they were driving towards Damascus. There were even panic reports that Bashar al-Assad was trying to flee Syria. But the Russians stepped in a very major way. There are Wagner groups operating in Syria. Putin sacked the local Russian commander and he sent in his best Syrian expert, General Alexander Cheko. And General Cheko, known for his ruthlessness, he came in and he started 100 fighter jets attacks on the rebels. They bombed the city of Aleppo almost to rubble. They bombed Idlis and they bombed Homs. There were major fighting has broken out there. The Syrian army is rushing a lot of reinforcements to this front. So far they have not really been able to stabilize, but the battle seems to be stabilizing around Homs. If the Syrians and the Russians can hold on to Homs, their naval bases on the Mediterranean are safe. And it is quite certain that the Russians will throw in everything. The problem is that Russia is heavily bogged down fighting in Ukraine. How much resources can it divert right now towards Syria? And possibly one of the aims seems to be to distract the Russians. They are winning in Donetsk, in Luhansk, they are winning in the Donbass, they are making good progress in the Kursk against the Ukrainians, and possibly to put them on the back foot, this front has been opened up in Syria. So it serves two purposes. One, it destroys the Iranian pipeline or the Iranian line of communication through which lots of rockets and missiles and heavy armaments are being supplied to the Hezbollah in Lebanon via Syria. So the Israeli aim was to destroy this supply route, 3 supply routes in fact that come via Syria to Lebanon. And in fact, even Netanyahu had warned Syria that it would suffer consequences if it did not stop the supply of weapons to Hezbollah. Now this has happened, and the Russians have reacted savagely. Like I said, the Syrians have moved forward 3 divisions towards Aleppo and the Homs area. They are trying to stabilize the front at Homs. The top HTS commander, Julali, he has been killed in the Russian airstrikes. There is a fierce free-for-all battle which is now on, and this is such a dangerous situation. There are so many state actors, non-state actors involved that this could easily blow up into a regional conflict and worse. The Russians are there, the Americans are there, the Israelis are there, the Turks are there playing a very dubious double, triple role. Turkey claims to be the head of the caliphate. It has been trying to say that it supports the Palestinians. It supports Hezbollah and Iran in whatever they are doing. And suddenly now it has done a volte-face and it has started attacking Bashar al-Assad in Syria to help the Israelis deal with the supply line to the Hezbollah in Lebanon. This has become a very dangerous situation and one that could easily spin out of control. The constraints are that both Iran and Syria and also Russia are now under pressure and may not be in a position to react as they would have otherwise. We will have to wait and watch as this situation unfolds in Syria and the wider Middle East. The chances of the ceasefire continuing in Lebanon are very tenuous. On the very first day itself, there were about 3 ceasefire violations. One is not very sure how long this ceasefire will last, and whatever little happiness the world had tried to secure from this ceasefire has been blown up in the intense fighting that has broken out in Syria. The Middle East seems doomed to endless wars and conflicts because it has become a cockpit for all the major powers to fight out their proxy wars. Thank you.